Okay, here we go. After party 22. Everybody doing all right tonight?
Well, I almost just died eating a pork rind. Sometimes life throws you a curveball. You're just chewing on a crunchy snack, and then it goes down into your lung, and you can't breathe.
Yeah. Yep. So we almost lost Bill.
Coughing. He's okay.
He did roll 1 on his initial death save, but Elena brought him back by just waiting and watching like the rest of us.
He worried the dogs, not me.
She ran from the other end of the house to make sure that she could intervene if I started to have my airway compromised. Also known as watched me cough through Skype from several rooms away.
Yeah. Yeah, you're fine.
She moves so fast, we didn't even see her leave.
Yeah, exactly.
It was amazing. All right, so tonight we're going to talk about session 66, hashtag live, session 67, sporadically boarding party, and session 68, christened. One of my favorite titles.
Oh, I love that.
I was good because I was racking I was like, what the fuck am I going to call this last one?
It's so simple, yet so profound.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Profound?
Yeah.
Well, look, we'll get to the profundity of Shakara and Grimby's relationship once we get to the last episode here.
I'm going to make another
works,
page on the website that has words that we make up. I think we do need a dictionary at this point. Okay, so 66 starts out actually with a little Shaft background story. So
With a little
instead of
Shaft.
me talking about it, you guys ask Leland and I anything you want to talk about that.
You want to talk
you
about
want
your
to.
little shaft, eh?
No. It was actually, it was Tobias at this point. It's not Shaft yet, so.
I would just like to nominate Horik for the best NPC accent ever to exist in the history.
So good you can totally understand everything he says.
I was just
I
going to say
listened to
the
it.
least understood.
I listened to it multiple times and it just got better every time.
I'm pulling up my notes for that because I couldn't. For some reason,
you actually
I
saying
was like,
something?
Yes, he is actually saying words. And so for some reason, I thought to myself, what accent do I want to give Horik? Well, maybe I can do a Scottish accent. And I was watching a bunch of Scottish YouTube in the days leading up to us recording this, and basically all that ended up happening was I wrote down a bunch of common Scottish phrases and threw them into what Horik was saying. But there wasn't an accent to it, so I'll pull up the translations, but continue while I pull it up.
I will say I think there was 2 different times when I had no idea what the hell you said, and I just went with it. And then later on you said, he understood everything I said, and I just went with that too.
That was part of my favorite part, was Shaft responding to just complete gibberish that I didn't understand whatsoever. And, oh man, it was brilliant.
Oh, I knew John didn't know. We all knew listening John didn't know.
You didn't know I didn't know. I listened
knew
back,
you
it
didn't
sounded
know.
You don't hear
plausible.
common English.
I rolled an insight. I knew. Wait, what are we talking about?
I'm waiting for one of you to ask either one of us about that little part of the show.
We were supposed to prepare for this?
I don't have any questions.
Look, you're no more prepared than I am every time we do this. So.
Yeah.
I am excited for Shaft to one day maybe talk to Mia about some stuff, and maybe they know some people in common.
Ooh.
Well, you never know.
I found it
Interesting.
quite heartbreaking that Tobias and Nina couldn't work it out, and that also Tobias and Horik could not save Danzig. There's just nothing they could do to save him.
Yeah.
Well, as we really got a show in these 3 episodes, we found out that Sermo's really powerful.
Yeah.
She clearly put up a fight in this last round of battle.
A nice bolt through the chest tends to slow her down a little bit.
I think we got lucky with some of our rolls there.
Yeah.
My perspective about Nina, at least, was that when you went to check on her in Victor, I didn't think she was that important to you. So I don't know, I just got vibes that she wasn't that big of a deal, and then she's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate that she was a previous love interest.
Yeah, I don't think Shaft would, at least the kind of guy as you know him, that would be something that he would share.
Yeah.
Right? I think he's going to keep a lot of those things a little closer to the, to the chest, right? And that's one of the reasons I wanted to do some of these little backstory snippets that we're talking about doing.
Well, the people asked for him, and you gave it to him. Gave him a little Shaft.
John's a giver.
I wouldn't be upset if it was the last time I heard that joke about the little shaft. But moving right along.
It was quite emotional when Leland and I broke up.
Yeah, like I took that pretty
role-playing.
hard the days after. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep that night. I kept thinking, well, I wish I could have worked it out with
Yeah.
him.
Well, what
That
could
really
we have
explains
done
why he was
differently?
tossing and turning so much.
Yeah.
That's right.
Confirmed. Okay.
No, I thought it was a great little backstory RP session.
Well, there'll be more to come. So then we moved into the episode where we were in the water. I think the last round of 3 episodes, the boat blew up and we were all in the water and got capsized, along with our good buddy Statdorf and our friend Sally, and even Captain Grimby was nowhere to be seen for most of that episode, I believe.
And don't forget, or no, was he already dead at this point? Jerry.
Jerry was already dead. Spider got him.
Poor Jerry didn't make it that far.
I
I
assumed
feel for Jerry.
when the boat blew up, it was just because the cannons fired the red light at him, and it just...
I did as
That
well.
caused it to blow
I
it up.
never thought much more into that.
I didn't
Wait,
either.
what happened? What's the other theory?
It was aliens.
Dude, the Nyogi. Well, when the boat did blow up and Shaft hid underneath the smaller boat, I thought that was pretty good roleplay. I didn't understand it at the time, and I was very frustrated because going into this recording session, the boat blew up, and then there was like a break between recording. We came back to play, and I was very much prepared to cast Water Walk so that everyone that was willing could walk on the water and just run to the ship or like dodge like attacks, whatever. But then to realize, see, this is where I wish I wouldn't have known that he was hiding, because then Elena second guessed casting that because she was like, well, Shaft might resist it and then he'll be... So I like thought too hard about it and then ended up not casting it at all.
Yeah, my hope was that everyone would think I was dead, right? And I could push the boat over towards the other boat and then climb in without being noticed, was the idea.
Yeah, that.
But it didn't
that
work
worked
out because that boat got
Yeah.
blown up too.
Just got obliterated.
Well, I will say back to the whole explosion thing is I choose my words in these descriptions quite carefully.
Yeah, you said something
I
on
suggest paying
Discord,
attention to the words that come out of my mouth.
and then when I listened back to it, I was like, oh, there was something in Grimby's Hall, wasn't there?
I learned so much listening back to the episode.
Yeah, it's easy to miss when you're
Something
actually
in his
playing,
hull.
quite
I
honestly,
still
right?
missed it. What happened?
I don't think I've ever missed anything when we're playing, actually.
Oh my gosh. Definitely didn't happen in this batch of episodes.
The only problem is once I learn it, we've got like 10 hours of stuff already recorded, so it does me no good.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, even the way that you were describing the maps and stuff, like I listened the first time, but I didn't fully comprehend, like, oh man, there's like a puzzle afoot. Anyway, that's a couple episodes further, but.
So it's mostly just battle, but I do have some little notes here where I just wrote down bullet points. One of the questions, or one of the things I wrote down was that Mia was doing massive damage.
Yes, holy crap.
And got hit with a cannon straight on, like in the air.
Yeah. That's wild.
I think we were all pretty impressed with the amount of damage you were dealing out, flying around and
Well,
hammers
thank you.
flying and spiritual hammers flying and lightning flying, and I think we were all a little, maybe a little scared too.
I was trying to impress.
You impressed.
Yeah, Sally and Statdorf in their own little boat swimming away off the map.
I like to think they're going to start a family somewhere. Settle down.
Oh, wow.
Well,
One for the brains, one for the body, or whatever I said. That was a stupid joke.
let's see. I also wrote down that Falzarin swims faster than everybody, but was the last one on the boat.
That's true.
Oh, that's accurate.
I think that really bleeds into the next episode.
Hold on. I wrote that Falsey did a survival check and got a 2, and Leland said, "What would you like to do?" And he said, "Survive."
Yeah.
Like, so you know what's funny about that is when you rolled that, Bill, and then after you rolled and then described what you wanted to do, you were like, no, I'm just going to blow some bubbles and see what way they go. And had you described you doing that before you did the survival check, I would have given you advantage on the survival check.
Yeah.
I see.
But you were already all turned about.
D&D, am I right? So confusing sometimes. I kind of didn't know what to do there, to be honest. I was like, well, I guess I just hang out for a turn and try again next time around.
The only other thing I have written down for 66 is explain the lid on the boat. So does the lid sort of cave in on itself, or does it just come right up like a clam, like a great big sail would be hanging off the back?
It opens like a shell. It's got 2 halves. It's this teardrop-shaped ship, which was described in 65. Described it opening in 65.
Yeah.
And it hinges at the back of it.
If only we were live streaming this on Twitch right now. Everyone's making clams with their 2 hands.
Yeah. That's all the words you said were exactly as you described, but in my mind, they wouldn't make a boat like that with the thing sticking up on the back like that. It has to cave in and sort of fold
I
down.
also
It's
thought
magic.
it retracted.
Even though I
I
paid
thought
no
it did
attention
sideways.
to your words. Oh, yeah.
Not this way, but this way.
No, it was lengthwise, or it the hinges on the narrow. But of course, we're also looking at a map that has like just a regular wooden boat depicted on it too, right? It's so easy to go off of the visuals.
It's lengthwise, you say.
He did say several times.
Oh. Now, see, I can get behind that. I like the idea of a lengthwise shell boat clam thing that opens up. Now, when it opens, is the
Now
hinge...
you like it. Well, I didn't really say how high it goes.
Is the hinge at the back of the boat or the front?
Babe, he just
Back.
said it hinges at the back
At
like
the back.
3 times. Pay attention.
No, Bill's being an asshole.
Falzarin.
I hope that was you being a sarcastic prick and not actually asking me that question again.
No, he legitimately was just asking. Now it hinges at the back, right?
At the ass end.
The ass end, yeah.
The stern
hinge
and
is
the
at
hull
ass
of
end
the-
of the boat.
I like it. Leland.
Starburst.
I think that makes for a dope visual image of this funky ship.
Yeah, we should have had that back when we recorded.
Well, you know what was the most surprising of these 3? When Shakara turned to Grimby and was like, "Hey, you want the boat? What do I need one for?" I'm like, "What? You don't want this boat? I give you a boat for Christ's sakes. I give you a fucking warship."
Look,
In hindsight,
Never
I
give
was
us
thinking to myself,
anything.
like, what? Why did we do that?
With the unsaid understanding that Grimby would be at our beck and call.
Well,
Yeah.
that wasn't part of the deal. That's not what Grimby
The
agreed to.
unsaid understanding.
I would really hope that we have access to this boat for fighting the Kraken. That was my assumption.
Well, hey, you might have gotten away from the boat. You might not even have gotten that boat, right? You did earn that ship. Like, you fought hard for that ship.
I thought we were fighting for our lives, not for the ship.
Yeah.
How come those little drowned guys were harder to kill than Surma?
Because we did, like, massive damage to her, like,
Yeah,
3
Surma got
rounds in a
Yeah,
row.
just smashed
hammered
her
pretty good.
multiple times.
I mean, most of the time, 2 lightning strikes were taking them down from Mia. Like, Mia destroyed that drowned master too.
Yeah. Well, all the way till the end.
That's true. I guess it doesn't really count unless you get the final blow. So
Right, you only get experience when you do the final blow. That's right.
yeah, you got to finish the job. So.
That's how it
Oh
works.
man, wouldn't that suck? Actually, that probably wouldn't suck for Falzarin.
Yeah, you just magic missile everybody when they're wobbling on their feet.
Exactly.
I still remember that you killed Hank Applebee's, and I was so ticked that you're the one that killed him.
Yeah. There's a couple instances like that.
Oh, I was just going to say something.
Well, the show must go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
67. That takes us into 67, and I have some bullet points down here. I got Moonbeam.
That is the most useless use of Moonbeam ever.
I thought it was pretty
Yeah,
Why
cool.
do you
sorry.
say that?
Because it kept, did hardly any damage because the people kept getting knocked out or moved away from the damn Moonbeam.
Yeah, but it only does 2d6 damage or whatever, right?
It's
Yeah,
like,
well-
I'm going to push him back.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. It was just, that was the only thing I could do at the time because I was in the water. But it was useless.
Yeah, we should have interrogated that guy that we captured, put him in a chair, and then moonbeam him until he talked.
Ooh.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't think Shakara
Do you
would
think
have gone
Shakara
for
would do that? Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, he ain't dead yet, so who knows what's coming up, listener?
That's true.
I like that 1/2 of 11 is 8.
Yeah, 1/2 of an 11 is 8. That was a good one, Bill.
Mental math. I'm good at two things: listening and mental math.
Definitely
Eating pork rinds.
not confirming
Oh,
that.
man.
Yeah, you're really good at chewing.
That was scary. I thought I was going to die.
I remember what I was going to say earlier. I was going to say that I will not forget that when I'm flying, I get 6 extra radiant damage every turn. I forgot for like 5 rounds or
Well,
more.
you reminded yourself, and then by the time I got back to your turn again, you forgot again. And then you reminded yourself
Exactly.
after your turn.
Classic.
Well, I don't think I'll forget now. Although I did call myself Bryn this set of episodes. I don't know
Yeah.
what.
I called you Bryn, too.
We should have edited that out, but it's like still funny that I did it.
Let's see. I've got Trapped in a Web.
Yep, that's me. And I got tentacled. I got slashed by drowned like multiple times. So I don't know why I didn't think I got the blue rot. I guess I always thought to get the blue rot you had to like be dead or whatever and touch the black stuff.
You as, I don't know what your characters say, but you as players are misconstruing the resurrection, like the reanimation of the black water and the disease itself.
Yeah, Gozer and Thuff both got the blue rot because they got hit by swords that were carried by the drown.
Yeah.
Right.
So
the
this
blue
would've been
rot,
a Thuff
the blue rot
situation.
doesn't cause reanimation. The blue rot is carried by the reanimated people of the black goo.
So since our exposure to blue rot, we have now acquired the ability to heal disease.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's a good thing we didn't eat that rabbit then.
Probably good you didn't eat that rabbit, yeah.
Ew. Gross.
Could have had it baked into a shepherd's pie.
Ooh.
Oh, sick.
Mm,
Is that like
blue rot pie.
what's that?
Blue rot pie.
Blue rot pie.
What's that food in the UK?
Haggis? That's
That's
No,
Scottish.
I think it's essentially
That's
like
Scottish.
blood that is cooked into
Blood
like a
sausage.
sausage.
Blood pudding, yeah.
Yeah. I think it'd look like that because the rabbit was blackish, right? It'd be a blood sausage shepherd's pie.
This is like a very shaft heavy episode.
That's right, baby. Let's see. What else do I have here? I have reduced maximum hit points by 4 when Mia gets hit. So that was for what caused that?
The master did when it hit her with its tentacle attack.
Like basically he said a long rest would cure that.
Hmm.
So like exhaustion,
Some sort of
kind,
weakness
then?
or something, yeah.
Well,
It would have, well, it was lucky that she was resistant to necrotic damage because it drains your max HP equal to the damage dealt.
Nice.
Oh, dang.
And she only got hit by it once.
That's potentially pretty deadly.
That was something I was surprised I remembered, the whole necrotic damage
Yeah, because
thing with an ASMR.
if that thing deals 20 damage to you, like you
If you are reduced, I believe if you're reduced to 0 as an effect of its drain, you die.
yeah.
Like
'Cause
dead?
you,
Wow.
you can't
Dead,
heal.
dead.
Or I wonder, is there something a cleric
That's a
could
challenge
do?
rating 9 creature that you mopped
And
the
Mia
floor with.
owned him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh boy.
But see, I think this goes back to, like, you'll continue to see Mia develop, but, like, she really wanted to look brave and strong, but she's freaking out. Like, so she really wanted to seem really powerful, but she herself doesn't feel like she knows what she's doing.
Well,
Anyway.
you did a significant amount more damage than all the rest of us, I believe. So
I don't
you're doing
know.
a good job.
Yeah, well, thank you. I also almost was close to dying. Had to take a potion.
Yeah.
But heal myself.
Look, we've all been there.
We sure have.
Some of us more than others.
It's fun to be beefy for sure. Like, this was my first long combat with Mia, where it wasn't just like throwing lightning at a kraken that did nothing. So it was fun. It was fun to play something different.
So then another thing Mia did was try to convince Falzarin to cast Detect Magic, a spell he doesn't have, so she could save her own spell slots. I thought that was
Yeah, that was amazing.
a nice little touch.
Can you do anything to figure? No.
Now I know that Shakara can detect magic too, though.
Well, and also it's a ritual,
Oh, right, it's a ritual.
so you don't have to use a spell slot. You just have to have 10 minutes to cast it, and then 10 minutes to have it be cast.
Well, the person controlling
it.
Mia is new to this, so she didn't know.
Well, that's something that I've learned as well. Lehman's tiny hut is a ritual, so I don't need to be burning 3rd level spell slots for that.
Keep fireballing. You get the extra fireball.
Well, that brings up, I wrote down that Bill said, "Great ball of fire," and I missed the opportunity to say, "Goodness gracious."
Oh.
Oh, man.
I'm so disappointed in myself.
Bill had his first actual good ball of fire, like an actual decent
Yeah, he
fireball
rolled well.
of the campaign.
Yeah.
And he was in the water, I believe, shooting over the edge of the boat at the time, right?
Yeah.
So all you need is, maybe like some situation where you really can't see what's going on, and you'll do fantastic.
Yes, exactly.
He just hucks it aimlessly.
I've rolled some real bad rolls for Fireball so far. It doesn't help when you don't roll the correct number of dice either, but even when I do,
Ugh.
lots of 1s and 2s, man. Can be very unforgiving.
If Erica's alive, it's your fault, like, for reals.
So then I have the next thing we did. I think we cleared everything off, and then we were going to head down into the ship.
Yeah, we became murder hobos when we got on board the ship.
We kind of did, yeah.
Just killed everything in sight.
I didn't.
Except for one guy, yeah.
Yeah, you did.
And I kept bringing him up, like, because I thought he'd be helpful, and Shaft just completely ignores me.
I did. I noticed that back because I kept thinking you were on a different floor than I was. I was doing a fall.
No.
Well, I
Nobody
can
knew
understand how you'd be
what
confused.
floor of the ship they were on. Like,
I knew where I was.
no, at
thought
one
I
point,
knew.
Grimby teleported to the mid deck too from the lower
Yeah.
deck. Like, Shaft was like, "Yeah, I'll go down there. Hey, is Grimby around?" I'm like, "Sure." There he is right there. Look,
thought I knew where I was.
I think this batch of 3 episodes sucked, and I feel bad for the listener, like, because I don't. Listening back myself, I'm like, even editing, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on in this fight. Like, where is what and who and like, I don't know. I just felt like it was a clusterfuck, but. And that's also directly compared to the next, like, dozen episodes that we already have recorded that are all really good, that are going to be really fucking good. And so I'm like, I just want to get there. Let's just get to Heraklion. Hurry the fuck up. Kill these cultists already. Get this boat.
I mean, maybe we don't make it to Heraklion, Leland. Come on.
Oh, sorry.
Spoilies.
It was a very cool boat that we just handed over to Grimby after we successfully killed everyone on board.
I agree with Shakara though. What the hell are we going to do with a boat? He's already give us free transport for life, right?
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
would
That
assume
is true.
we want to go back, he picks us up. We want to fight in it, he picks us up.
It could be said it was our fault his second boat got destroyed.
Yeah.
Maybe, but
And then I gave him a bunch of gold too. What was I thinking?
Wait, you gave him a bunch of gold?
I split it I split the gold.
But that's not these
How many
episodes,
of
Bill.
it? Oh, my bad.
Actually, we didn't even. I don't think we ever said that on Mike. That won't make it on Mike. But the total gold they found in the ship was 2,500, and
The gold was divided by 5 instead of
so
4.
Grimby got a share.
Grimby got an equal cut of the gold.
Well, he has to hire a new crew.
We could have each got another
it was for the
125.
new crew.
Look, we don't want a boat. You got to store it. You got to take care of it. You got to get a crew. You got to do. We can barely take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
We don't need anything to jointly own.
Well, hell, I'm on my 25th fine steed fey creature.
Yeah, you can't find boat. There's no spell for that.
That's rentals. So I have down that when we went down the steps, a shaft went down and shot an arrow into the guy, ran back up the steps, as Leland put at the beginning of the episode, for tactical advantage. And then Shakara ran right down to go kill whatever it was that was down there.
Murder hobo!
Yeah, so you were a little bloodthirsty in that episode.
Yeah, she was a little erratic, I'd say. Chaotic. Chucking stuff into
I think
stuff.
it was more she was juvenile and reflective of Shakara's age. As there was a point where both she and Mia were excited with some of the features of the boat as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I've been in battles before, but I've never been in battle on a boat.
Yeah, especially a clamshell boat with a retractable lid.
With people that are clearly bad guys that need to be put down. In her mind.
We head down the stairs and then are confronted again with some unique controls. We're back to seeing some more levers and a nice big wheel. And we take the guys out down there relatively easily, I think. They sort of fell pretty quick. And then Grimby came, and I wrote down here, Grimby's the axe man, because apparently Grimby must have really just been taking people out with his axe. We need him to fight with us more than just drive our boat.
I don't know. He was still batting about 500, I think, by the end of that. So.
Yeah, I wrote down Grimby as an inept badass.
Yeah, I know. You said that in the episode.
You sound so upset.
God, it sounded like he took it hard. Did you get that? Yeah.
I also said if you kill Grimby, we riot, so that should make up for it, right?
Well, okay, great. So Shakara's into negging now. She's negs Grimby to try to get with him after.
Do you mean nag?
I don't
No,
know. what
Stop
nagging
saying
is.
the wrong. Stop saying the wrong words, Leland. It's nag.
No,
No,
I think he's talking about
I meant
something
what
else.
I said.
It's southern.
It's a different word he's saying.
Cavern.
Okay, this is getting cut out because you look like a fool, Elena.
He's not saying N-A-G.
Oh, he's not.
No. It's a different word that I've heard of, but I don't know what it means.
I just thought it was a Lelandism.
No.
Dang it. Now that he said he's going to cut it out, he's definitely not going to cut it out.
0% chance of being cut out.
Negging is an act of emotional manipulation whereby a person makes a deliberate, backhanded compliment or otherwise flirtatious remark to another person to undermine their confidence and increase their need of the manipulator's approval.
Oh, so how I've always been treated by the opposite sex.
We're... Oh,
It's all
that's a
coming
really
together.
complicated, like a 3-letter word means all that. Jeez.
Hey, while we're on here, go ahead and look up stern, because Falzer needs to know.
I'll freely admit that I do not know
I bet it
nautical
says-
terms.
It probably says ass end behind it.
But Falzarin would know
That's
nautical
the
terms,
description
like,
of it,
for
yeah.
sure.
I know, that's the worst part, is that he should.
You know how many emails that I personally got about you about making fun of Bill, being like, wow, he couldn't follow what Leland was clearly laying out. Like, I had to close my inbox for 24 hours so just to keep up with him.
Yeah, that was bad. Very bad.
Don't know that I believe that.
Oh,
like
sorry, I
it.
forgot to throw in an acronym. Otherwise, I would have sold it.
But no, yeah, like Bill came home. He's like, what happened in the last episode? I was like, well, Leland described things really well and pretty plainly, and you had no idea what he was saying. Like the map, for instance, right? You're describing these little circles and X's. And...
Also, where the map was on the ship. Falzern had no fucking clue where he was on this boat. Like,
he's like, so is there any here? And he's like, so eastern. Wait, so western. Anyway, you'll hear it when you listen to it, honey.
You should probably preface these things by saying, okay, now pay attention. And then we can write stuff down. You can just cut you saying that back out again.
I must have been like flipping through spells at this point or something, trying to multitask.
yeah, when we were out of combat. I guess so.
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes just...
All right, so the only things I have written down.
Sorry. Before you continue on, you sure had an easy time paying attention when I told you there was a chest full of gold.
Hot dog. Once in a lifetime opportunity right there for Falzarin.
That's true. You'll never find another fucking chest of gold in your goddamn life, Falzarin. You'll never, not until the day you die and you roll a new character. Well, this party see another chest full of gold.
I'm not responsible for any of that shit.
I'm sorry. No, you are.
Hashtag kill Falzarin.
I just love Falzarin putting the bag of holding down on the ground and just bending over
Dumping
the chest
the gold
and scooping it
Whose
out and
whose
shoveling it in.
idea was it to like pick the whole chest up and put it in? Because I feel like that'd be too heavy.
It was my idea because you're just dumping the gold into the bag. Just
But
put
how
the
would
damn
you
chest
pick
in
up
with the
5,000 gold all at once in a chest?
5,000 gold is probably not a very big chest.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know how much that
I got
was.
the impression it'd be too heavy to lift, but if not, then yeah, that
You
would've
are
made way more
pretty
sense.
skinny and scrawny.
Think of a roll of quarters, right? How many's in a roll of quarters?
Well, not 5,000.
No, you said 500, right?
It's
20
5,000.
2,500 gold pieces.
500 gold pieces.
2,500 total.
2,500.
You think of a roll of pennies, you got 50 pennies in there. You know, that's not a whole hell of a lot.
Well, Falzarin's a weakling, so...
Yeah.
Volume-wise, I don't think it was that bad. Anyway, might as well take the chest because it was... How did you describe the chest?
Ornate.
Ornate.
Ornate,
Yeah.
emitting powerful magic,
Jinx.
Yeah.
embedded with expensive-looking gemstones.
No, it was a cool use of detect magic. However, we were talking about it afterwards. I was under the impression that, like, everything I saw that was magic was glowing to everybody. But I'm the only one that can see it glowing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we had a long discussion, and I'm like, man, because it was cut out of the episode, but I didn't look the spell up myself. I had you read me its effect, and it's a very minimal text, but it's another one of those fucking spells that has more nuance than what you read at a single glance of the text. Because one, it doesn't function like a radar, so anywhere within 30 feet of you. You feel the presence of magic. You don't know where the magic is in that radius. That's why you need to use your action to make anything appear glittery to you that is visible to you. So that also doesn't count. That also doesn't, like, if someone has something in a magic ring in their pocket, you won't see that their
Okay.
pocket glow.
Well, her pocket would glow unless it was lined with lead.
Yeah.
So
it
spell
said
can
it
penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by a foot of stone, an inch of common metal, or a thin sheet of lead.
So she'll feel the presence of the ring. Continue reading the spell. When it gets to the take your action part.
You can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area that bears magic.
Exactly. So the ring in a pocket is not visible to Mia. Therefore, it would not gain that aura, but she would sense its presence in the 30 feet.
I think there's something over there.
Exactly. So in the instance of an invisible creature under the effects of the invisibility spell, detect magic would sense that creature, but you would not be able to make it light up with the aura because it's invisible to you.
Right.
So that's where
So
the nuance
sneaky.
for that specific... Yeah, it's
It would
weird,
be like
right? And
a
it's just,
ghost. You could feel sense the presence of the ghost, but you couldn't see it.
Yeah, I see something like that. Absolutely.
So, like, using it in combat where actions are counted and stuff like that, you're saying I would have to choose to say, like, action.
No,
I'm
no.
looking at... Okay.
No, so if you were to use your action when it mattered in 6-second round, it would be anything in the radius that you can see would light up with a single action. So
okay.
that's true.
Okay.
That's right.
I don't have to say,
misspoke in
like-
the Discord or whatever. No.
Okay.
That was part of me misreading it again. So, but I mean, again, in this instance, it didn't really matter. Like there were you felt the presence of the cannons. They clearly lit up when you made them do so. The creatures in the hold also. I mean, it's all visible.
Right. I'm trying to remember, did anything about Danzig glow? Did we talk about that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in some of my notes here.
So that isn't to say if there was something that was hidden in the hold of that ship within 30 feet of one of those magical creatures that powered the ship, you would still detect the presence of magic, but it would still be hidden to you, to your aura, because you can't see it. So magic can mask this other presence of magic, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think when you said, which we'll get to Danzig here, but when you said, is Danzig glowing, you were essentially focusing on Danzig to see if you sensed the magic, and then you saw that it did glow. Which brings us to Danzig.
Yeah, was it him glowing or the barrel? Or, like, the whole thing?
I liked the interplay that the three of you were back there, and Shaft was up at the helm of the boat, having the discussion about what to do.
And using a cultist as a doorstop for the wheel.
That was you, yeah.
You know, when I listened back to that, I kept thinking, you know, on most ships, I think they have like either a brake or a lock or ropes that they use to hold the wheel.
Yeah.
Typically not a body. So if I would have taken a little bit of time to maybe look around, maybe there was a mechanism of some kind that could have locked the wheel down. But
A little less gruesomely.
yeah, it was more fun to use.
It was really funny
corpse.
to picture, like, the little halfling on this wheel. I don't know. It was funny.
Probably standing on the body so you can see over top of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, then back to Danzig was in the barrel with flower petals, have a magical glow, and it smelled of rotting fish when we found him. Any ideas there? Any theories?
That he needed to be killed because he's going to transform into something much, much worse.
I'm sure he's just misunderstood.
Well, this was Mia's first encounter with him, and not a lot was said. But I do think that she would probably agree with Shakara that this is like an abomination coming to being, right? But she doesn't know anything, so...
Yeah, he's metamorphosizing into something.
Something that can't be good.
Yeah, probably not ideal.
Elena thought maybe those flowers were the flowers that Ailbender told us about,
Yes.
but he said they don't look the same or whatever.
They're reddish purple, and I think the
Yeah,
Elbender flowers
is
are
white.
white, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I
so
don't
it's
believe
not-
we ever said a color. They're called snowbloom, but what that means.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was also just the petals, so you don't know if it came from a six-pointed flower at all.
Ah, so that's the power of suggestion right there. Snowbloom, and we assumed white.
It's interesting you say that because I did
Oh.
assume they were white flowers.
If you recall in Erica's lair, her portal had purplish six-pointed stars
true.
around the frame.
Yes,
of it.
I definitely
That's
recall
super
that.
true. Dang it. Ugh. Leland, yet again in the after party, you
Oh,
realize how
boy.
little we know.
I just hope, and from what you guys are saying, I'm glad. It doesn't sound like you
We're
think
idiots.
that he's turning into a deep scion. I hope it's very clear that it is distinctly different. Just the minimal and the change in his features are distinctly different than that of a deep scion.
So what is he turning into?
Everyone's
Nothing
a deep
good.
scion.
Well, I think you mentioned directly to me, I noticed some things about the way he looked. Like his head lost all its hair. It had sort of the flower shape, I believe you said, was similar to one that was on the octopus
Yeah,
during
during the ritual. Yeah,
sacrifice.
that's right.
But that was something that I think only Shaft would recognize, because I was the only one up there.
Yeah,
during
probably.
that time.
Yeah, for sure.
We should probably let him stew for a bit more, just see what he turns into.
Yeah.
I believe
Like
that's
a
what
good
we're
shepherd's
doing,
pie.
whether we want to or not.
He's covered up. He's tied up. It's all good.
Although Shaft did say, and I quote, I don't think he is my brother anymore, but may still be of use. And Shakara asked, would you be able to kill him?
What did you say?
Shut up, Shakara asked, would you be able to kill him or stand by while we did kill him? And Shaft said yes.
Ooh, baby, when you talk like that.
She said Shakira, everybody.
Fuck you
Sorry,
guys.
I didn't hear anything you said after you said Shakira. What did you say after
what did you say?
Shakira?
I was too wrapped up in the Shakira.
Shakara asked, would Shaft stand by while we killed Danzig? And he said yes.
Did he?
Well, I think there's a lot of assumptions being made there. Like, I don't think he meant, like, right now. Right? I think if he came back and he was evil or something was
It could
was
be
wrong.
too late then, and he could be too powerful. Same with the baby Kraken. Right now,
Maybe
we
he's turning into
possibly
a Kraken.
have a chance of killing him. We wait.
Well, now you could kill him. It's like killing Danzig in a barrel.
We
Quite
exactly the
literally.
easiest way to do it. The least risk
Oh,
to
man.
us.
Dancing in a barrel.
I would still argue that I don't think Shakara or Mia would just kill somebody helpless like that.
Somebody that is transforming into who knows what that is definitely going to fight against us.
I think it would have to be a guaranteed evil. I don't know enough. Mia doesn't know enough.
you guys don't know, but there was a time not too long ago where Shaft was turning into a little furry beast through a curse.
True.
It's true.
Very true.
I should have opened my senses to detect if there was any evil there.
So I think Falzarin might have seen, the power of curses, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Well, the thing is, like, we wouldn't know your backstory, but at least as a listener hearing the little backstory, like, Danzig's choosing this. It's not a curse.
That's what you got from that backstory?
Well, that's what you.
That's
thought
what you
that
took away from
Danzig
that?
was trying to get away, and Surma zapped him.
There was one line that I thought was pretty important.
There's one line? What's the line?
Well, there's one thing that Danzig says. He doesn't to Shaft that's very important.
Basically,
say?
help me.
All right, well, then I'm totally misremembering. Scratch all that.
He begged Tobias to save him.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then Surma, flick of her wand, sucked him into the blood red portal.
Right. Yeah. Oh, poor Danzig.
It's been a week and a half since I heard it. I don't remember.
Well, shit, listener. I hope you pay more attention to these fuckers do.
Shut up.
I was mostly focused on rewinding and listening to Horik over and over and over again.
Oh, speaking
That's
of,
true.
I have his translation if you want to understand what he said.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, please.
All right,
Lay it
let's
on
hear it. Let's hear it.
So, okay, the first line I think was pretty obvious. He asked Tobias, what did you bring the girl for?
Yeah, nope.
Yeah, I got that one.
Okay, and then Tobias was like, yeah, it's okay. And then he said, well, I've tracked them to the top of the mountain, to the peak. It's like the top of the world up here. They're up to who knows what. The smell up there will make you sick, but let's have a gander. Let's
Did
go
not
take a
get
look.
any of that.
That's the one I
What?
missed. Yeah.
I heard.
Say it again in a Horik voice.
I understood
don't
so
wanna
little
say
of what he
it
said,
again.
like almost nothing of what Horik said. It was hilarious.
Transcript can be found on the
Oh,
website.
man. That
Captions turned on.
it's been a while since I've laughed that hard.
I will say during the recording, it was everything in my power to not burst out laughing.
You did
When I
very good.
first
There was
heard the
only
voice.
one instance where you did, and I'm like, how is he straight facing this? Because I'm
I think
dying
that's
inside.
part of what was so funny was the fact that like John was going along with it. Just oh man.
What else was there? You had more lines than that.
Oh, and then he just kind of said, it's been storming like that for hours. And that's pretty much it. Oh, and then when he grabbed Nina, he said, well, Shaft, he might be small, but he knows what he's doing, is basically what he said to her.
Yeah, I did not get that either.
Oh man.
You did pick up on where we were also, right?
Mount Necrosis?
Yeah, Mount Necrosis, just so you If you noticed back in the episode where we were on with Bonacor, I said, I know where that's at.
It's true.
So,
Oh.
so
Okay.
it's all a big web that Leland is weaving that we're putting all these little pieces.
I
are
feel
coming
like
together.
Shaft knows more strings of the web than any of us.
Oh, for sure he does.
I think Shaft is aware of the existence of more strands than some of you are aware of. But I'm
Okay.
not sure that he has overall has more knowledge of the size and scope of the web than the rest of you do. I would say each of you have an individual piece in which a proper cohesive party could have put together 20 episodes ago,
Okay.
which is why it's so much fun for me.
Well, look at it from Shaft's perspective. I mean, half of the party that we started out with are dead, and then the other one's Falzern.
Okay.
Oh.
So by default, I know more than the rest of you.
Well, and like the other thing is whatever Mia or Shakara might know, like how much do we say about what we specifically know a day after meeting you?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's obvious that we are never going to trust each other enough to put anything together.
Oh, I think
don't-
over the next
I don't like the
handful of
word
episodes,
never.
the trust amongst the party is going to get much better.
Are you sure about that?
Well,
In some
Different.
ways.
Different, he says.
different, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm very excited for some of these next episodes to come out.
I mean, Shakara just said like, well, I hope that you can trust us and be yourself around us. And I'm like, shoot, I just met you. Like, for real, it was like one night ago.
I want to play again, man. Like, oh.
The
things are
next
heating up.
6 to 10 episodes, when we get done recording, I'm wore out. I'll just say it that way. It has drained me of all my energy.
Like when we're
Tell
done.
me about it.
yeah.
I think we played for 7 hours last weekend or whatever day that was. Like, played for 7 hours.
Saturday we played for over 6 hours, yeah.
Not because of a stint of playing, just because of the interactions.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
Leland said by the end of 6 hours, we all sort of ended up knowing the same. It took 6 hours for us to get to the point where we could have if we would have just opened up to each other. Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
if we would have just told each other what we knew.
But we couldn't.
Hopefully that's entertaining for you guys listening.
Yeah, this is a pre-after party. We're talking about episodes that are going to come out weeks from now.
Yeah, I know. We should
All right,
move on. The last thing for 68 was there was a little post credit with all of us. The first one with
Oh,
all
yeah.
5 of us in it.
Yep,
Well, we didn't
Yeah.
know it was a post credit at the time.
that's
Yeah,
true.
I don't think
I
know that.
recall starting the recording and me saying, yes, we're going to do this quick post credit and then get right into play. And then the 4 of you decided to continue on as if we were still playing a regular
Once
episode.
again,
and I had to
Leland,
stop
we've
us.
already established the fact that we usually don't listen
We
to things
do
that
not
you're saying.
pay
so
attention
you can't
at
lay that
all.
on
Speak
us.
too quickly or something?
I don't know.
Do I must
don't
I
know.
slow my words?
I think that you need to start like saying, "Hey, pay attention to what I'm saying."
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Well, I would clap my hands to get your attention, but that would throw off the syncing of the tracks. And
So I think that pretty much wraps it up. The only other thing that happened is we pulled a bunch of levers to find out what the boat did. Grimby got a little pissy at me because I was throwing the levers after he knew what they did, because now he feels that, it's his
His
boat
job.
now.
It's his
so
boat now,
Get
yeah.
the fuck off.
Shakara got her 4th deed. Got her 4th brand.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about that, apparently.
Well,
No. You sort of said, is this a great deed? And we went,
Shakar said, "Is it a good deed?" And I was like, "Sure." And you were like, "That's all I need to hear."
Sold.
I feel like it was a little weird, but whatever.
yeah,
It was a little
can you
weird.
grab
It
me a
was a
beer
it was a
while
stretch.
you're
It
up
was
a
there at the
stretch. It
bar?
was.
Sure. Great deed.
A great deed to like take over this magical ship and get kill happy.
How many does Shakara need again?
15.
Oh, wow. I mean, you're probably gonna have to take some less exciting ones if you want to make it to 15. That's a lot of great deeds.
That's a lot.
Helped the old lady cross the road.
Do bad deeds subtract from it?
Oh boy.
No.
Good question, though. I like it. I like where you're going with it.
This isn't Catholicism. This is...
I was just going to say, just go ahead. Wait, no. Damn it, Bill, don't get me involved in that shit. All right, we got any questions from anybody?
Yup.
I mean, I was working all day, so I kind of had to try and ignore my phone, but I think we got a handful of people. Not necessarily questioning, but commenting, harassing various things our listeners do to us.
Yeah.
We
Bill
asked
Ben.
for it.
Bill Ben asked, were hit points being tracked for the clam boat? Because it took a lot of abuse from weapons and spells during the battle, but the only reason I was wondering was because we talked about it in past with other craft.
It took a bit of a beating, but nothing that could take a boat down that size. For reference, like that little rowboat, according to any source material, a rowboat like that, that Shaft tried to get away in has 50 hit points. A boat like the size of the Rising 2 has about 100, and something like this clam ship, which is pretty well a homebrewy warship, has upwards of like 500 plus hit points.
So you didn't even
okay.
bother tracking because you knew we weren't going to do that much damage.
You weren't going to take it down, no. So I wasn't like I wasn't keeping a running tally. But also like a boat like that, who knows what other type of resistances it may have just because of the materials in which it's crafted of. And also larger ships often have a damage threshold in which you must deal at least, like, say for the Rising 2, like a damage threshold of 10. You have to deal at least 10 damage to deal any damage at all.
Oh, okay.
And I
Interesting.
mean, a good long rest, and it'll be right back up to snuff.
Oh yeah, the Rising 3 just needs a nice sleep. So no, I wasn't like point by point like you would with an enemy's hit points keeping track. But now that it is in your possession, it is a little damage. I guess I should keep that number somewhere.
Well,
unless
thanks, Bill
Grimby's
Ben. Way to go.
But hey, the party doesn't want it, so what the party don't know don't hurt them. So I don't gotta keep track of it because
This
it's
is the
Grimby's
part of the
boat.
show where we give Leland all the ideas.
If it was like going to be under, like if you maybe wanted to use the boat as some type of means of generating income in any fashion, then that would have been something that could have been handed over to one of you. Or you know what I mean? Or if you did want to keep on with it or use it, then we would certainly have that running tally in case, while it's being used, something happens. Even if it's happening like off mic, as in, like, I roll randomly or maybe, for, like, random encounter stuff, and which could affect some of, if you're renting it out as cargo ship, it's, that kind of shit. So there's lots of things you could have done with it.
Let's start charging Grimby rent. Let's go. What were we thinking?
I think if you want to never get a free boat ride again, you start threatening Grimby.
Yeah.
He'll be gone.
The way he scaled that ship with his axe, that was pretty sweet. I was impressed. He was the first one to make it over there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was the least sporadic boarder.
Grimby's impressive.
He can swim really fast, Bill. Be watching out.
But he can't hold his breath for a long time.
Well, no, he just didn't spend 3 turns diving down, coming back up, diving down, and looking around. He just went straight for the
I was
boat.
trying to save Grimby.
Snap.
I realize that, but that's the difference in the speed, at least.
Now, it didn't come up, but you would have given us partial cover for that, right? Or full cover.
Going in the
Nah,
water?
partial. Yeah.
I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't give me any cover.
Oh, well,
come
shit, then I
on.
would have never done it.
Cruel.
Really?
5 feet below the surface of the water from those cannons? I wouldn't give you nothing.
Well, what the heck was I doing?
This
I
this
don't
is
know.
probably a good time to ask questions and during that. Would I get partial cover if I dive 10 feet down? That's all I would have had to ask, and I would have beat Grimby.
And in the heat of battle, I'd probably be more generous. But now in hindsight,
Why did you think we were doing that? You were just screwing with us then.
no, because
There was no other reason for us to dive down the
truth
water. Unless you're
comes
going,
out.
I don't know. He's doing this dolphin move.
and I was getting pissy because you weren't keeping track of the movement going down, and I had to remind you 6 times for that. But here's the thing: there were other people on the surface as well, which were much more visible than those diving down. So those diving down still were less of a target than the ones on the surface.
Because they had partial
so
cover.
you were just thinking it was...
Correct.
Okay. You thought it was a tactical visual targeting move rather than a hiding and getting cover.
I basically thought, I thought it was more of like a stealth tactic than a hide behind something tactic. Is kind of what what I was
a stealth tactic. After that,
oh,
it was
see,
all
I
just
thought that
trying to
was
get
a hide
cover.
behind something tactic.
You guys.
Because it saved you from 2 cannon blasts.
Yeah, well, I guess that was partial cover or full cover.
That was
I
full
assume.
cover, yeah.
But why in the hell are they hitting the boat? There's nothing there.
It's moving
They didn't
directly to them.
I was fine with it when I said I was underneath holding onto the seat, but then somebody said, "And your little feet are kicking out the back," and I'm like, "No, my little feet are kicking."
Hey, maybe if you'd only moved it 5 feet, that would have been a different story.
It's just like a slow-moving torpedo heading right for the boat.
Plus, you peeked your head out from under to look, too. I should have made you roll a stealth check. I was listening. I was like, I should have made him like do a stealth or something for that. But no, they saw him. Whatever. Let's blast them. These cannons are cool. I want to use them.
Oh boy.
Dave started a whole conversation on Twitter about why we named one of them sporadically boarding.
And then didn't have Mike
Anybody
DeLisio
from
or
that-
Dan
yeah.
Hughes on the episode. I didn't even think of that listeners would be like, oh man, they got Mike and Dan on.
That's exactly why we named it that. What are you talking about? I wanted some accidental downloads.
We did it for the extra downloads,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Duh. But by the very definition of the title, that is exactly how the episode played out. It's not my fault. It happened to coincide with a very popular other podcast.
Right. You can't own all the words.
No.
Yeah.
Or,
they don't own those
or
words.
any such string of putting certain words together in a single sentence.
It's like board game
there's no-
mechanisms. You can't trademark them.
There are certain words that we own because nobody else wants to use them. But
like Leelander.
check the website for definitions.
He also asked about us being able to actually find some loot. Where is the real Leland Steele, and what have we done with him?
Yeah.
I mean, I was surprised.
Yeah, it is out of character for the DM to give us money.
I wonder.
It's probably cursed.
Because he knew what he was going to be offering when we got to Heracleon, and we needed the money for that.
That's true.
Maybe. It's not out of character. It's exactly what Bill mentioned and Emily commented on it. We're actually exploring everything in this quote-unquote dungeon that is laid out before us.
We actually saw the whole ship.
The money goes to good use, listener. Just wait. The next few episodes are great.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about it next party.
Lots of shepherd's pie.
It doesn't hang around long.
Just said, love the flashback you guys did with Shaft. It really added a lot of depth and humanity to him, and the role play was fantastic. How much of that did you guys have planned out going in?
Shaft, I wrote a backstory for Shaft back when we started. And there's been a lot of little things that I sort of put together over the almost 1 year that we've been doing the podcast. And so some of it was pretty well thought out, but none of it was necessarily scripted per se. There's just sort of bullet points that we wanted to hit, and then we sort of just did it. And, you know, the thing about telling a story is especially when you're going back in time and you want to show some things that happened, is it's going to be a little bit, talk through. I mean, because you're trying to hit some points, right? Leland, you want to say anything about it?
The way the flashbacks differ from some of the other solo stuff is they need to end up somewhere. Like, somewhat of the outcome and the road in which they are coming before and the end to present, at least, of that road in which they're preceding. Whereas you think of something like Falsey's solo with way back with Izzy, that was much less scripted, for lack of a better word. Obviously, though, Bill and I had a talk about my thoughts of where it's going, and then we kind of got into it and played. Like, I mean, obviously I had a bunch of narration for all of the stuff at the top of Mount Necrosis, obviously, because it would sound terrible if I tried to do it off the top of my head.
I thought that turned out really well. That was great.
I was certainly happy with it for sure. And again, that was me tweaking a bunch of stuff that John had written. So John basically wrote that himself, and I just added some of the details that make it more pertinent to what exactly is going on, and some of the processes that I already had in my head, and then now was able to expound upon because of John fleshing out his own character. So that was very much that was John that wrote that. Like, that was John's piece. That wasn't mine. And then the Nina and Tobias stuff, that was again, like, we knew where we wanted it to end, and then we just went into it and touched each other's hearts in ways we never expected.
Oh, baby.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. That
No,
was
I
good.
think that's a good way to say it. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I really enjoy the playing it out, role playing it out, but knowing, we want to hit certain things. I didn't know what he was going to say, and I don't think he knew what I was going to say.
And even when he said it, you didn't know what he said.
Exactly. That was going to be the next thing that I said.
Jess also said she's curious as to how one plans out a combat encounter. Like, how do you decide how many enemies is enough to keep it interesting and not too much as to destroy the party? Is it easier to choose one big bad or multiple smaller ones? When you guys did the one shot, did it dictate what enemies to use based on the party you guys had planned?
Do you want to start with one shot?
The one shot, it had what enemies to use in it. I just used what the story said. And it was geared toward the level of characters that they made.
Right, so that the pre-map, the pre-gen adventure, right? They're usually for a specific range of level for a certain range of player characters, and then they provide you with whatever. But of course, I mean, there's nothing stopping you from changing whatever monsters are in that pre-gen adventure, right? If you were
right, yeah,
maybe more seasoned, or if there was a specific something you wanted to take the story in a different direction as opposed to what this kind of established setting offers you.
Yeah.
As far as my encounters for this, I don't know if the listeners caught on, but I don't really know how to make a proper combat encounter because, I mean, I don't think we've had combat since Bryn died, right?
Right. Not
and
much.
it took us 3 episodes to get through a single minute of combat, for God's sakes. So I would not recommend throwing a bunch of little dudes like this combat had. I mean, they were there because there needed to be two people per cannon to effectively use those cannons, because I, again, model them off of a ballista where it takes you have to load the ballista, you have to aim the ballista, and then you have to fire the ballista, all of which are a single action to do. So a single person trying to man one of those cannons is incredibly useless, basically.
Yeah.
And that's why during there was basically they fired every 2 rounds with 2 people fully operating, which is also helps kind of mediate the difficulty of that encounter specifically, because it wasn't every turn they were taking potentially 40-10 fire damage from one of these cannons.
Yeah, that would have been rough.
Yeah.
So I honestly don't really know, but at the level, at the character level in which you all are getting, which I'm pretty sure after this combat, this leveled you to 7.
Yeah.
Which again, we've stopped specifying that on mic as we're just more delving into the RP and stuff, but that's what the after party's for. So now from here going forward, you all just hit 7. So FYI to the listener. And throwing a single combatant, even if it is, say, a challenge rating of a 9 to 12 at a party like you, especially with some of the smite damage and some of Mia's powerful spells, and now with all these fireballs, And just if Shaft gets off all 3 hits on a dude with Hunter's Mark, like the 4 of you together could easily take down a larger threat.
Like Izzy.
Like maybe
Or
Izzy.
a Kraken.
Or a juvenile Kraken. So I don't know. I've always found combat encounters difficult to properly gauge their difficulty. It also, the setting in which you guys were in the sea. I mean, this combat would have been much different if it was, if maybe they were up on this 5-foot wall with these cannons and you were on solid ground. That's very different as well. And I don't think this combat wasn't overly challenging. I don't feel like, I mean, yeah, Mia, you took a beating, but I mean, you were right in there and up front. There were lots of cannon shot misses. Falsey had a clutch shield, which blocked 2 direct hits to him. That would have knocked him the fuck out.
That was huge.
Yeah. So I don't know. I find it really difficult. But like in the DMG, there is rules for building an encounter, and it's based off of XP. Because in the Monster Manual, I've referenced challenge ratings numerous times in this episode already, but a monster is given a specific challenge rating, which is ideally a party of, I think it's 4 to 5 characters of that level, like a challenge rating 9. 4 to 5 level 9 characters should be able to handle a challenge rating 9 creature. But again, that's not always the case, because that Drowned Master is challenge rating 9 and he missed that first tentacle attack. And obviously Mia has resistance, but like if he was tentacly attacking even Shaft or Falzarin, and if you had took like 8 necrotic from 2 tentacle attacks and you drained your maximum by 16, even a heal from Shikaro or Mia doesn't get you back up past those reduced 16, right? So
Falsey would not do well with that at all.
Well, I mean, if it's not clear, I'm not really the most combat-centric DM either. I mean, who knows? I mean, the next stretch of episodes has not much. It's very RP heavy. It's very RP heavy.
Yeah, I got some really cool new stuff that I want to use at 7th, and I get my cards out every time. I lay the dice out every time, and then I just put them away.
Well, and I'll also say that that's not me like steering the narrative away from combat.
Yeah, no, the story took us where it took us. Yeah.
There's plenty of times that we could get.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Every hour that we're playing, basically over the next handful of episodes, I am like just praying that combat doesn't break out. But just Heraklion has some powerful people there.
There's good stuff coming.
Good stuff coming. Lots of good role play.
Heraklion is a lovely city.
It is. It is.
It is lovely.
It is.
I'll say it's a bitch to make the map. I'll say that.
I was so glad you were spearheading that map making, because my goodness.
Bless.
Is that all the questions before we start giving away to the listeners what the heck's happening? Okay.
Before we move on, now I've obviously never DM'd, and Elaine and I guess, are probably equally inexperienced, but I watch some YouTube videos here and there and read some stuff online and other people talking about their experiences.
So you're an expert then?
Basically. Self-taught expert.
The best kind of expert.
Exactly. Yeah. Who needs med school when you can just do some Googling?
WebMD, baby.
Canadian healthcare system.
That's why it's free, yeah?
All right, just never mind.
Oh, we're getting slap happy.
Another thing that, I don't want to say this is a good or a bad thing to do, because I can't speak from experience myself, but I do know that some GMs fudge some things. So they'll either fudge die rolls if they're thinking that they're going to be killing the PCs way too easily or too soon in the combat, or they might fudge the total HP of the big bads and just decide when it's a good time for the final blow to happen. So that's another thing that some GMs do to balance things a bit. I won't say that Leland does or doesn't. That's his own secret to keep. But
Leland doesn't. That's why half the party's dead.
I mean, hey, AP for revealing secrets. I fudge things.
Don't
from
tell
time
us.
to time, but that's well, I'm not
Who
going to tell
hasn't,
you.
Bill?
I'm not going to tell
Have
you
you
what
not
and
ever
when I
fudged a
fudge.
roll?
never.
I'll say the fudge factor's probably one in your house once you guys went into different rooms.
Yeah. So like Bill and I used to record on one mic sitting next to each other, and I will say that I never fudged a roll until I was by myself.
I can't believe you'd fudge a roll, Elena.
Well, the players shouldn't be fudging rolls.
After all these years of
You
marriage, I'm just learning who
I couldn't even tell
Really
you
been
which
living
rolls they
with.
were. It probably wasn't that big of a deal.
See, when I fudge rolls, it's for the narrative.
Oh, me too, for sure.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
and by that I mean the greater good. But that is completely selfish and self-centric fudging.
Mia is the greater
Mia.
good, all right?
Oh, man.
Every fucking DM. I don't believe a damn single DM if they tell me they've never fudged a single roll interaction or anything. That's bullshit. That is bullshit because otherwise that makes for unfun games, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you should.
There has to be some
sometimes.
control over
I think
over
it
the
needs
outcome.
to be done. Again, if I do it. I mean, I don't do it that often. It is honestly rare, but I do it to prop up some of my other failings, like in encounter building. If I feel, if it's too difficult, then I can fudge and scale it down. If it's too easy, I can fudge and scale it. It's all for the narrative, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it really is to help me fill in gaps of areas that I need improvement.
And I can see how it would be very difficult to know. Like, for one, you have die rolling all the time. So, like, you really can't predict how an encounter is going to go. There's a wide spectrum of how easy or hard it might be just based on how the die fall.
Absolutely.
The dice fall. And, I would find it very daunting to try and fill out monster stat blocks and number of monsters per encounter based on party. Like, I think that's a tough task to do. So fudging really smooths that out a lot.
Well, yeah, that's true. It does reduce some bookkeeping, absolutely. I think that a lot of people have a problem with it because it often is in the guise of for the greater good, but more often than not turns into a dungeon master playing as if it's them versus the players, which is not how you play this game.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that
Wait,
then
what did
makes
you
it-
just say?
That makes it fuck. that then makes it less fun for the entire table
Yeah.
if only one person, aka the GM, is having a good time. I am perfectly happy with shitting the bed on some of my rolls and you for just curb stomping a combat encounter. I'm totally okay, way back in the Dam, that encounter was supposed to be a challenging combat encounter. You mopped that one up. Way back when Gozer and Tuff was still around. And Barry. See, but Barry shit the
He
bed
did
that
nothing.
combat, and you still mopped up. Brendel was useless like usual, and you still mopped up.
Brindle was
Was a
always a
deep
lie on the dice
scion.
roll. Did you even?
Oh, man.
I envision you just dropping a die and saying what happened with Brindle without even looking at the consequence.
There was one recent die
true.
roll, I forget whether it was last play session or the one before, where I felt like people thought that I cheated because I knew what I was going to do, so I had already rolled. And I'm really bad at rolling and then looking at the die to make sure that it's the number that I'm seeing and then adding. And so there's usually quite a delay. And then I totally didn't know what I was going to do. I'm like, yeah, it's a 20. Instantaneously with no pause.
Oh yeah, you usually take the longest to add it all up, but that's all right. Get the right number of fireballs. Do we make it to Heraklion next episode or what?
It's a good question.
We
Fingers
may
crossed.
never make it to Heraklion.
I don't know if that Kraken comes back. Who knows what the hell will happen?
Well, it's just like with the Tyrannosaurus Rex. You stay still, and it can't see you.
Yes.
Yeah, can you explain to us, were we looking out through a glass that he couldn't see through, or what's that?
That's what Falzarin posited.
We don't
Or
know.
is the whole clam magical so we can see through? Was it
So,
only one area that
one-way
we could
mirror?
see through? Yeah. I don't know.
Kraken was just
He's
admiring
not gonna
himself.
tell us that.
Or was he? He's like, dang, I look good.
Or is the Kraken like mind controlling us?
Do we even exist?
And
You're all being mind
We're all
controlled
deep
by the Kraken.
scions.
Oh my goodness. You're all sleeper agent deep scions. You don't even know it.
dude, sleeper agent Deep Scion is a real thing, okay? For real. They say the right word and you're activated.
Yep. No comment.
There's lots of properties of this shell ship that have yet to be discovered.
Oh, shell
for
ship?
sure.
That's the magic word.
That we'll never figure out
Deep
because we
Scion.
gave it away to
Activated.
Grimby.
Well, hopefully Grimby can figure some out, and maybe you'll get some benefits from them still, but
I mean, you guys stole some of that fuel.
Yeah, and then proceeded to completely forget about it for many episodes.
Oh yeah, that was a good lesson in describing things. I said, I'll take 12 of them. They go, they're about softball
yeah, I
size.
know. That one actually was my fault because I never did describe their general size. Although I did reference snow globes. Maybe that's probably what I thought when I did. I'm like, because it's about a snow globe-ish size.
You should have said nothing, and then a couple episodes later, this guy comes in with a pouch full of softballs.
Yeah, he's
The hell
got
are
like
you
a whole
talking about?
backpack full of balls.
I do want somebody to draw our characters with all the equipment that we actually have on us,
Oh yeah.
just to see what we'd look like. I mean, I'm 2'6".
I've already
35
seen
pounds.
a preview of what Shaft looks like, and he is a handsome fellow.
Yeah,
Hey,
he
damn Skippy.
is.
I don't need a drawing to know that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the final product of Shaft.
I mean, maybe if Falzarin would just give his character
I know.
description, he could be
Oh.
drawn, you know?
Such an idiot. I could have had a Falzarin months ago.
I mean, I got a Bryn, and now you know what
there's too
happened
much
there.
pressure. I don't know what Falzarin's face looks like.
I just picture Falzarin as having gray hair and a beard, like I just do, but it's like
No,
you're
he's
30.
not old.
I
Right.
just can't
That's-
connect it.
That's the old wise wizard. Falzarin is young, though.
So, Leland, you just describe a deep scion, and then we'll know what Falzarin looks like.
Ooh.
Some tentacles.
Shakara's got claws, we know that now. It's like, oh, yeah, right, she's a dragonborn.
I also have scales.
There's a wide range of how Dragonborns get drawn in the fantasy drawings I've seen online. Some of them are like real fearsome looking. Some of them are a lot more friendly looking.
I picture Shakara as having solid abs, hips that don't lie, and blonde flowing hair.
No
That's
hair.
it.
No hair.
You got no hair at all?
no hair. And I have a tail.
Oh, man. So how do we know you're a girl?
Boobs.
The age-old question. The age-old question. Oh, Gozer's boobs. Oh, man.
Those are pecs.
Did Gozer have hair?
Short hair.
She had short hair? I just pictured long hair. I don't know. I don't know what I had in
I
mind.
don't
It was like
know
shaved
what I
short. Yeah.
pictured for Gozer's hair.
Oh, wow.
So Shakara had... Do you have a helmet on, or you're just like...
No.
Okay.
Does Mia have a helmet?
No.
Does Mia have shaved head?
No. No, Mia has, like, long brown hair. Like, maybe tied back. But you know what's... Okay.
Is
never
it
mind, I'll tell
brown
you guys
though?
off.
As
hair?
an ASMR, would your hair be brown? I guess it could be. I guess.
When I'm a human, I'm like tan brown skin with like brown hair, brown eyes. But then like the only thing when I take the amulet off is that my eyes glow topaz.
Oh, okay.
That's the only thing that changes. Well, and if I was to have radiant soul and my wings come out.
Yeah, but you see that like every day. It's pretty
Anyway,
common.
Shaft has a very strong jawline, nice chin, little cutie.
Yeah, I took some time, sort of gave her a little description.
Came up with your dream man and sent it off.
That's
We should say this is
Looks
Jess
just
is
like
drawing
Leland
these
Steele.
and doing a wonderful job of drawing these characters for
Just
us.
like Leland.
Yeah, Jess has got some talent for sure.
Absolutely. Nah, I'm looking forward to it.
The crazy thing is, and this is what I wasn't going to say, but I'll say it. Fine. Twist my arm. She had a drawing of, like, Mia from over a year ago. She has a girl with the same brown hair, tan skin, like wings and everything.
What?
Like, it's more of like a close-up, like shoulders and head. But she already had a portrait started. It's crazy.
It's divine.
So, yeah, it is. It's from The Power of Thor.
Wow.
Be sure to check the website eventually.
It's not Shakara's fault that Bren died because it was meant to be.
Yeah, it was destiny. Been watching too much Witcher. Destiny.
All right. Anybody have anything else? I think we're petering out.
Eh.
I'm
Hey,
I'm
we
Peter.
haven't even mentioned butt plugs yet.
We're not doing a last contest anytime soon, right? That's still.
Soon. I'm gonna get some pictures up on the website so people can see some of the stuff that I've done, and then we'll put something out there. Probably beginning of March. Somewhere
Yeah,
there.
probably March, which is soon.
When this releases, it's March. So yeah.
Oh, cool! Happy March, you guys!
The Ides of March.
Okay.
March
Gotcha.
Madness.
Speak English, John.
Madness.
That's not the ass end of March, right? That's not. The...
Is that the aft or the port?
It's a belly button of March.
Oh, okay.
Someone do end of show stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. This is the most painful part.
End of show stuff.
So I've been Tobias Forge and John.
I have been Shakara and Emily.
You also are Shakira.
Nope.
Just for 1 second.
I'm Mia and Elena.
I'm Falzern and Bill.
And I'm Leland Steele.
Happy adventuring.
Woohoo!
I don't like to say it anymore because I'm not that happy.
Oh. See, I figured
Listen,
You've
I'm telling
probably
you, if you
gotten-
put the time into editing, we can have March
you've
Madness.
probably gotten
3
laid
releases
a
a
few times
week.
recently, and that's why
3
we got
releases
all the
a
gold.
week. Okay. So you're saying Leland got laid, we got gold?
And spoiler alert, my scroll.
What? Did Leland
Didn't you
get
hear
laid?
it? I just said that. I said my hypothesis
Oh, I
was
totally missed that because
Leyland's been
I was
getting
thinking
lucky.
about
There's-
having to put together March Madness, and
March Madness, do it!
Yeah. Leyland's got a secret love interest, and now the gold is flowing.